Constructors is hiring. We're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. We offer competitive wages, great benefits, brand new service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for our shop and multiple field technicians. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at constructorslincoln.com.
Garage doors can be expensive. Are you keeping yours in the best condition possible? This is Cameron Hall with Doors Plus. Doors Plus is a locally owned business that prides itself on the fast, reliable, and friendly service. Doors Plus offers flexible scheduling so you can book an appointment that fits your busy day. My team and I will come out to your property, both commercial and residential, and provide you with the necessary information you need to make sure your garage door is in working and smooth condition. Give Doors Plus a call today at 402-590-5800 to book an appointment and learn more about our preventative maintenance plans. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just the professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, our passion. For happier, healthier furry friends.
The McKinney's Irish Pub in the Haymarket is your place for English Premier League soccer. On Saturday, Newcastle and Man City play each other at 6:30 a.m., followed by Chelsea and Brighton facing off at 9 a.m. On Sunday, Man United plays Tottenham at 10:30 a.m., followed by Bournemouth and Southampton, ending the week at 2 p.m. At the top of the EPL standings, Man City is 4-1-0 with no losses on the season and a draw, while Liverpool and Aston Villa are 4-0-1, both with one loss. You can catch all these matches and more at the McKinney's Irish Pub, your headquarters in Lincoln for English Premier League soccer at 8th and P.
With the Planet Fitness Black Card, you don't just get a great workout, you get a great perk out because your membership is packed with perks. For $1 down and $24.99 a month, you'll get perks like access to any of our 2,400 clean and spacious locations. Bring your friend anytime and both work out with tons of equipment that'll give you that big fitness energy. Relax in the Black Card spa and more. Work out and perk out with the PF Black Card. Join for just $1 down and $24.99 a month. Hurry, this deal ends soon. See Home Club for details.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old-fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
Come enjoy a show of the Midwest's best boxing on Saturday, October 5th with Roughnecks at the Complex, the former location of Champions Fun Center. 8 bouts are scheduled for the night, including the main event of Dwayne Johnson and Jack Lawless Frericks in the Professional Middleweight Championship bout. Doors open at 6 p.m. with first bout at 7 p.m. Learn more about the boxers and buy tickets at thecomplexlincoln.com. It's the fall sports season, and that means that the school year is back in session and you're planning road trips for Nebraska football games and following your kids around to their different events. Stop telling yourself you'll upgrade your car someday and do it now. Mullen Motors Lot is full of great vehicles to take home so you don't have to worry about your current car struggling through another season. Come check out their lot just north of 48th and Lake and find your next ride. As your fall schedule gets busy, you'll need a reliable way to get to your destinations. Mullen Motors.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
This is the Adam Carriker Show.
Position right of the quarterback, out of the shotgun, 1st and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carriker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carriker.
Shotgun snap to Everett. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carriker who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Adam Carriker.
Welcome in, everybody, to the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. If you didn't know by now, it's every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, noon to 1 p.m. Central Time. All right, grab your lunch. Come join me, producer Jake. What you're going to get, unique insights, unbridled honesty, and we're going to have a whole lot of fun in the process. All right, ladies and gentlemen. First show I've done on the ticket live in studio. Drop by if you're so inclined. Also, on Wednesdays, check out Steve Taylor from noon to 1 p.m. Central Time. Former All-American Nebraska quarterback. All right, first show after a loss. So, Jake, here's what needs to happen. Rhule needs to be fired. White needs to be fired. We need to clean house. We need to bring it we need to do the 97 transfer portal player deal like Deion's doing because, well, actually, they did win. Did you watch the end of that Colorado game?
Oh, man, what a game.
So, first of all, okay, we're not going to spend a whole lot of time on Colorado, but the ending was crazy. First of all, and I don't know the player's name, but he drops the pass, and he would have walked in for a touchdown. So I'm thinking, oh, man, this kid has to live with this. And then like one play later, Shadur, much to his credit, like 50, 60 yards on not deep in the air, high in the air. It was on a rope. And if you notice, the DBs couldn't get over in time. They're trying to get over in time to knock the pass down, but they couldn't because it was on a rope. It's impressive. The dude's physically talented. Just stay away from him mentally and psychologically. But I digress if you're an NFL team. And then they tie it and they go into overtime. They score, and then they cause the fumble. Of course, it's Travis Hunter. Causes the fumble of all guys. I'm like, seriously, is that 12? That's 12. All right, making the play. And Colorado wins. All right, so they won. So it kind of hurts my point a little bit. But I digress. We don't really want to do the 97 transfer portal player gig like Deion's doing because they haven't beat anybody good yet. Okay, there. That helps my point. All right, Jake, that helps my point. And my point is, all right, rough loss. Hard loss. I call it a gut punch of a loss after the game on my gut reaction on the Carriker Chronicles YouTube channel, carrikerchronicles.com. Cheap plug right there. But it's a loss. It's part of the process. Like, I didn't expect us to go 7-0 before the season. It's tough because the defense has not looked how we wanted the defense to look this year. All right, there was a drive versus a bad UTEP team where they went down the field and made it look really, really easy. The other three quarters, we looked really good. Colorado, first half, looked really, really good. Even the second half, only gave up 10 points. But the Northern Iowa game was not great. They only scored 3 points, but, man, they ran the ball. They controlled the clock. We had a hard time getting off the field, especially in those third down possessions. But, okay, you're allowed to have a mulligan, I guess. That was kind of how I looked at that game. Then you look at Illinois. Man. Here's the other thing. The Black Shirts are a good defense. Statistically, right now, they're not as good as they were last year in just about any department outside of forcing turnovers. There's an argument to be made because I know Rhule wanted to force more turnovers this year, which everybody wanted. I know that everyone was excited, including me, scoring in our first two games, safety and a pick six against Colorado and UTEP. But you got to tackle first. That's what's got to happen. You got to be able to tackle first. So what happens? Because there's a fine line between tackling, forcing turnovers. Where's this fine line, Adam? Here's what happens. If you're going to hit the quarterback from his front side where he can see you, just get the guy down. If you're coming up the middle, just get the guy down. If you're coming from his blind side, then you do the strip sack, especially if the ball's loose. If it's a running back, wide receiver, quarterback who takes off and runs, turns into a running back, first player in, tackle him. Next player, strip. You got to tackle first. You got to prioritize getting the man down. Then you go for the turnovers. The Black Shirts are still a good defense. Not as good as they were last year, and not anywhere as good as they'd hoped to be. They talked, not a lot, but I'd heard quotes here and there. Tony White, other guys, players. When I interviewed John Bullock, who might be he's probably our best defensive player right now. I'd probably rank him 1, Ty Robinson 2. When I asked him, can you be a top 5 defense in the country? When I interviewed him, he said, without hesitation, we can be the best defense in the country. That potential is there. I think that's where the disappointment comes in. Now, as far as when I was joking, we need to clean house, et cetera, it's kind of that overreaction, but it doesn't help. Another 1-score loss. By the way, we've lost 8 overtime games in a row. Our last 9 overtime possessions have netted 0 first downs, 0 points. And in our overtime possession last Friday, I think we had negative 30 yards, and I'm not even joking. We got the ball in our 25, and I think it ended on their 45. Not a mathematician, not a math major, but I'm pretty sure it's about negative 30 yards. So we got to do much, much better in overtime. It's losing at home. It's losing another ranked matchup versus another ranked opponent. The way we lost, it's all tough. It all absolutely sucks. Let's be honest. At the end of the day, it's still one game, and the question is, how does Nebraska bounce back? Tony White's still a good coach. Matt Rhule's still a good program builder. Jury's out. Is he a good coach? Yes. Is he a great coach? No idea. He's never stayed anywhere long enough to prove if he's a great coach. He knows how to get programs to winning 8, 9, 10 games, competing for championships. He doesn't have the best record versus ranked teams. Also, a lot of those losses come while he's building the program up. Then once they're built up, he leaves. The GOAT, Tom Osborne, had a hard time beating Oklahoma, had a hard time winning bowl games, had a hard time in certain situations. Took him a while to figure it out. Then when he figured it out, the avalanche came. And those are the glory days. My point is simply this. Matt Rhule is a program builder. He's a good coach. I believe we're on the way to being a good football team, a good program again, beyond respectable at some point in the near future. Will we be great? I don't know. That's where the gray area with Matt Rhule is. He doesn't plan on going anywhere else. He's told me that man-to-man, face-to-face. If he goes somewhere else, that is not what he told me, but that's what he's told me. So if he stays here 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 years, as long as everyone wants to keep him around, in his own words, per last offseason press conference, where he's like, I hope everyone wants to keep me around, he'll get an opportunity to show if he's a great coach, because great coaches have success versus really good teams, ranked teams, high-ranked teams over time. He's not had that, but this may be his first opportunity to prove it over time at a place where he plans on staying. So we don't need to clean house. We don't need to freak out. We need to get better. We need to get better on defense. We need to tackle better. If we need to blitz, after 2 games, we'd blitz 22% of the time, and that was okay because we were getting to the quarterback. If it ain't working, blitz. Come from all over the place. All right, Tommy Hill, I know he was banged up. Zaire Wright came in and played well. The USC transfer. Mr. Space Jam himself. Kudos to him for being ready to go. But Tommy Hill, when he's healthy, I know he's got a little plantar fascia thing going on right now. Hopefully he gets back on the field sooner than later. He's a good player. Zaire Wright came in and played well. Marquise Buford's done well this year. Trust your back end, your secondary, unless you just don't. If you just don't, that's a different story. But we got Hartzog back there, who's been starting for like 3 years now. At safety. He started at corner, started at safety. He can move all over the place. I don't care how good your secondary is if the quarterback doesn't have pressure on him. And credit Luke Altmaier. He made some plays, Illinois' quarterback. He moved around. He made plays. He was elusive. He made good throws. You saw why he was a 4-star recruit coming out of high school. The turnover machine from a year ago, which he was, and that's what I called him, 10 interceptions in 9 games that he started, is now a good quarterback. Respect, much love. But at the end of the day, we got to tackle better. We got to be better against the run. This is not a team that came in running the ball well. They had 166 yards rushing. At halftime, we had more total yards. We had more rushing yards. By the end of the game, they had outgained us 381 to 385. They had outrushed us by an embarrassing over 100 yards, 166 to 48. We actually won the time of possession, 30-21 to 29-39. Very, very close there. They had more first downs. The fact of the matter is, we're a good football team. We're the best we've been for a while, which is not admittedly saying a ton, unfortunately. But we just got to get better. The sky is not falling. This is not Chicken Little. Some people understand that. Some people don't. Feel free, the text line. Feel free to text in. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm right. Tell me I'm crazy, and I'll say you're right. But the fact of the matter is we're a good football team going in the right direction in year 2 under Matt Rhule, a proven program builder. Is he a great coach? No idea. Give him an opportunity to learn, grow, and develop because he still clearly needs to do that. But give him the time, give him the process, and let's all do this thing together, ladies and gentlemen. All right, final thoughts, final look at Illinois versus Nebraska. All right, and then we are at some point going to react to Matt Rhule's press conference, which is going on right now, hopefully 12:30. If not, it'll be more 12:45, 12:50. And then we will look back at the previous college football weekend. North Carolina scored 50 points and still lost by 20. Like, what in the world is that? I thought Kansas State was a decent football team. They got boat raced by 3 touchdowns, almost, by the boys from Provo. Michigan says, we're like the Undertaker. You knock us down, we're going to do the sit-up, and we're going to give you the death stare, and then we're going to turn into Stone Cold, stop a mud hole in you, and walk it dry, USC. That was a classic game, by the way. Classic game. Much respect to USC. They played good. They didn't get the win, but they played good. Michigan, not Michigan of the past 3 years, but they ain't dead yet. Respect to him. I got nothing but respect for that. We'll get into more of those. Tennessee, Oklahoma, Josh Heupel going home, if that's what you want to call it. Arch Manning gets into play. Looks really, really good. The Heisman frontrunner Quinn Ewers, all of a sudden, people are like, oh, we shouldn't even be starting. Man, let's not be so overreactive. By the way, Sark did put that to bed. Thank God. Quinn Ewers is the starter, will not lose the job to an injury. Heard that before if you're a Husker fan, going back in the day. It is too bad that Texas is so good, or appears to be right now, but we'll get into that in a little bit. I want to, all right, just briefly look at Nebraska, Illinois. Then I want to look at the first 4 games as an overall whole, if you're a Husker fan. All right, I've already talked about some of the stats as a whole. Let's go to the box score just real quick. Dylan Raiola, 24 of 35, 297 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 INT. I mean, I thought he played well. You watch that game, you couldn't count on the black shirts to get a stop, although they got a couple of turnovers and short fields to the offense, which we should have capitalized on more. But you couldn't count on them to get a stop. You couldn't count on a running game. You couldn't count on the special teams. I kept thinking, well, thank God Dylan Raiola's come back out on the field. He turned out to be the one thing we could kind of sort of count on. Now, late in the game, did he play the same as the first 3 quarters? No. What more do you want from him right now? I'm proud of that kid. He's doing well so far. Dante Dowdell, he's clearly RB1. 20 carries, 72 yards. Ramir Johnson, 4 carries. And the other 2 running backs nowhere to be found. Dante Dowdell is clearly the guy. And I'm not jabbing at the other guys. It's just pretty clear what's happening. Because Gabe Ervin, I still think, all right, he got a lot of talent. Emmett Johnson, there's people who think he's the best running back. So it's not a jab at anybody. But Dante Dowdell has clearly been dubbed the guy, at least at this point. Jamal Banks, Isaiah Nayor, 2 leading receivers, 8 catches for Banks. Kind of quiet, even though he had a couple of really impressive catches. Okay, Nayor seems to be the touchdown guy, though. I wish he'd have gotten 1 more, Jake. Just that 1 more. What are your thoughts on that? Do you blame him for not holding on to that? The catch in the end zone where the Illinois defender took it away. It turned out to be an INT. Do you blame him for not holding on to it? Raiola put the ball on point. Shocker. Or do you just credit the Illinois guy for just taking it from him?
I think you just got to credit the Illinois guy. That was an amazing play that, I had everybody on Twitter thinking about it. And it just kind of goes back to my, goes back to what has happened to the catch over the years. At one time it would be, okay, if you have possession, a foot down, that's a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
But over the last several years, it's what is a catch? How long do you have to hold on to it? Does that, if you go to the floor, are you holding on to the ball? And so, with the modern idea of what a catch is, I think that was probably the right call.
Well, it was the right call. I'm just saying, so you give more credit to Illinois' defensive backs. 7 interceptions, by the way, by their secondary this year. I said they were good. So you give more credit to their DB than Isaiah not winning the battle.
I think so. It was one of the more spectacular plays I've seen from a defensive back.
All right. It can go either way. I won't argue with you. You're right at least 49% of the time, my friend. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Jamal Banks played well, 8 catches, 94 yards, a couple of really impressive catches in traffic. Isaiah Nayor, 4 catches, 90 yards, 22.5 yards per catch average, 2 touchdowns, along with 44 on the night. Thomas Fedoni and Ja'Cory Barney were next 2 on the list. All right, defensively, John Bullock, again, led us in tackles. And unfortunately, not like 2 sacks is a really bad night, but it's not what you're hoping for if you want to be the number 1 defense in the country, or top 5 or top 10, or at least match what you did last year, which was the 11th ranked defense in the country. Again, Tony White needs to make adjustments because other coaches have adjusted to what he does. So now we get to see what Tony White can do when it comes to adjustments. And that's really the mark of a good coach, is adjusting. Whether it's in the offseason, studying film, whether it's in the middle of a season, in the middle of a game, I'm excited to see what Tony can do. I'm excited to see some better tackling. The black shirt ceiling is high, so expectations are high. And expectations are a privilege. And I can't wait to see what they do. Purdue, Rutgers, Indiana, the next 3 games. All right, here's some season stats. Points per game. Nebraska is averaging 31.5 points per game, giving up an average of 12.8. This stood out to me. And my God, if we'd have had this stat last year, we win 9 games. Points off turnovers, our opponents, 0. Nebraska, points off turnovers, 24. Could you imagine if that was the stat that existed a year ago, Jake? We would have been a 9-win team.
That clears all those that turnover problem right out.
Man. All right, first downs, we have 94. Opponents have 70. I'm not that interesting in rushing versus passing first downs. Rushing yardage, 562 yards on the year. We're averaging 4.1 yards per carry. We've given up 377, allowing 3 yards per carry. All right. You look at total offense, we're averaging just over 1,600 yards, or we have over 1,600 yards. I apologize. It's just over 400 yards per game of 402.3. We're giving up 286.8. The stats here are heavily in favor of Nebraska. If you just look at these stats. All right, time of possession, it's actually in our favor at 31-32 versus our opponents, 28-28. All right, sacks. We do need more of these. We're not even averaging 3 a game. I consider 4 sacks in a game to be a good game. 5 or above is great. Anything 1 to 0 is bad. 2 to 3 is okay. These black shirts want to be great. They don't want to be okay. We have 11 sacks through 4 games, so we're averaging an okay average amount of sacks per game. We have scored 16 touchdowns on the year. Our opponents have only scored 6. Like, these stats are largely in favor of us. We also have not played a lot of great teams. In Illinois, they're actually a big-time dog to Penn State. Can you look up the spread on Illinois where the S is silent versus Penn State this weekend? I want to say it's like 17, 18, 19 points. Illinois still got stuff to prove. They've beaten 2 ranked teams this year. All right, you look by the quarter. We've outscored our opponents 38-17 in the first quarter. The second quarter is our quarter, man. 58-3. The Huskers have the advantage. Third quarter, fourth quarter, not so much. We've outscored our opponents 13-10 and 17-14 in the third and fourth quarters, respectively, and we've been outscored 7-0 in overtime for a total of 126 points for the good guys, 51 total points through 4 games for the bad guys. So what that says to me, we got to get better at making adjustments throughout the game. We absolutely dominate in the first half. And again, we had more total yards, more rush yards at halftime. Illinois surpassed us in both and by over 100 yards in the rushing department by the end of the game. We averaged 1.6 yards per carry, by the way. What's the spread, Jake?
17.5.
All right, I knew it was something like that. Were you surprised that it was that high?
Yeah, that's awfully disrespectful to a team that you consider in the top 25. I don't know. Penn State hasn't necessarily ran through everybody, so I'm surprised by that.
I have no idea what to expect out of Penn State. All of a sudden, Drew Aller can throw the ball down the field and Jillian Fleming can catch. But for the first 2 games, they really couldn't. So I don't know what to make out of that game. I'm actually pretty intrigued. I'm going to watch that game. I assume it's on Saturday. With all these Big Ten Friday games, I don't know. But I'm going to watch it whenever it is. I was surprised by the spread a little bit. All right, ladies and gentlemen, final thoughts, Nebraska, Illinois. The sky is not falling. It was a rough, disappointing gut punch of a loss, especially the way it went down. We got to get better. We have an opportunity to get back on the winning track versus Purdue. Rutgers is going to come in here. We got a bye week, and then we go to Bloomington. FYI, Indiana and Rutgers are a combined 7-0. They've also played, with all due respect, absolutely nobody. If you want to count UCLA as somebody this year, I guess you can. The most impressive thing they've done so far is go down to LSU and lose. It was a competitive, fun game to watch. But whenever somebody points to a loss as the best thing you've done, I've never been impressed by that. So my point is simply this. I can't wait to see how we bounce back versus Purdue. I can't wait to see what the adjustments are. And I said before the season, a lot of people were like 7-0, 7-0. I was like, yeah, we're going to be favored in every game. That ball bounces funny ways. We're going to get a freshman moment or a bad call. 6-1. And as long if we're not 5-2, we got real issues. 6-1 was my prediction. I still feel decent about that. I fully expect us. Well, I don't give away my prediction for Purdue this weekend, although it might be obvious. I fully expect us to be 4-1 after this weekend. Feel good about 6-1. Really good about 5-2. If we ain't 5-2, that's a 3-game losing streak going into the back half of that schedule. And that's not going to happen, right, Jake? You're going to guarantee that, right?
Yeah, I'll be the one.
You put
I'll
your salary on it? Okay,
yeah.
I appreciate it. All right, don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be talking and looking back and recapping the most exciting college football games from last weekend and reacting to Matt Rhule's press conference. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Ever stare at the Hog Wild menu and feel like you just can't make up your mind because it all looks so good? Well, when I want a little bit of everything, I get a little bit of everything on Hog Wild Smokestack Sandwich. On a butter-toasted bun, we pile on our hickory smoked beef brisket and juicy hot links. The hard part is choosing between fresh curly fries, classic baked beans, or coleslaw on the side. Order online at GoHogWild.com. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, 3210 Cornhusker Highway in Lincoln.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today. Perch Merch is your one-stop shop for all your printing and promotional needs in Lincoln, Nebraska. They specialize in screen printing, embroidery, vehicle wraps, window wraps, print collateral, promotional products, and signage. At Perch Merch, they are committed to delivering high-quality products and exceptional customer service. Their experienced team of designers and printing professionals will work with you every step of the way to ensure that your vision is realized. Call for a quote today at 402-217-5212 or go to perch-merch.com.
Step into healing at Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery. Our team of top-notch medical professionals turns pain into progress with state-of-the-art treatments and compassionate care. Visit prairieortho.com and discover the difference in quality orthopedic and plastic surgery services tailored to your unique needs. Your health matters, and Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery is dedicated to helping you thrive. Reach your full potential. Embrace a better tomorrow with Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery.
Garage doors can be expensive. Are you keeping yours in the best condition possible? This is Cameron Hall with Doors Plus. Doors Plus is a locally owned business that prides itself on the fast, reliable, and friendly service. Doors Plus offers flexible scheduling so you can book an appointment that fits your busy day. My team and I will come out to your property, both commercial and residential, and provide you with the necessary information you need to make sure your garage door is in working and smooth condition. Give Doors Plus a call today at 402-590-5800 to book an appointment and learn more about our preventative maintenance plans. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
The Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see decreasing cloud cover throughout the day and light winds with an afternoon high around 73. Tonight we'll see increasing cloud cover with a low around 52. And tomorrow a chance of showers, possibly storms. Otherwise, partly sunny skies and a high around 78. I'm meteorologist Kyle Glick for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Have you been injured in an accident and don't know where to turn? You need an attorney you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you've been injured, we want to help you. Liberty Law's experienced attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Call Liberty Law and find out how we can help you get the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. Call the trial attorneys you can trust. 877-42-LIBERTY.
This show's pretty rockin', huh?
Yeah, I'm so glad my State Farm agent helped me go.
Huh?
My State Farm agent. They help me with options to personalize my auto insurance to get a great rate that fits my budget, so I don't have to give up the things I love.
Wow. Hey, so do you think I could get your State Farm agent's number?
Call your local State Farm agent, Vinny Kreekak, at 402-474-1173.
Individual premiums and budgets will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard, increase security, and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Fall is here, which means it's time to dive into a new lineup of autumn flavors at Wings and Rings. Your home away from home during football season. Their all-star lineup of wing sauces is adding 2 new impact players, curry garlic and pumpkin chili. Need something delicious before kickoff? How about starting your meal with their brand new chorizo nachos and loaded fries? You better act fast. These new tastes of autumn won't be here long. So make the trip to one of their 2 Lincoln locations today on O Street or Village Lane.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket, the show that will give you unique insights, unbridled honesty, and we're going to have a whole lot of fun together in the process as well. All right, so we're going to look back at the top games from this past weekend in college football. After that, we'll take a quick break and we'll react to Matt Rhule's press conference. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this past weekend, I'm going to start with an unranked matchup because North Carolina scored 50 points and still lost by 20. James Madison went into North Carolina, Mac Brown country, his second tenure with the Tar Heels. For those who don't know, he actually built them up to a number 4 team in the country, 1 loss in 1997 before he ended up going to Texas and winning that natty with V. Young. James Madison goes in to North Carolina and drops 70 and beats the Tar Heels by 20 points. James Madison, they're a good team, but what in the world is going on? Mac Brown's an all-time great coach. If he's not in the College Football Hall of Fame already, he should be. But that was a stunner, to say the least. I don't care if you're playing, I was going to say the Ravens, but maybe not the Ravens. They got Lamar Jackson. He can score fast. I don't care if you're playing Jacksonville with Trevor Lawrence. They shouldn't score. They had 39 points before the half, James Madison did, and then 70 at the end of the game. There is no way you should give up 70 points in a football game. Do you know the worst loss ever in college football history? Margin, Jake? No Google.
I think it's 222 to nothing, something like that.
You got it.
Yeah.
They had more pick sixes that game than they had completed passes when they lost 222 to nothing. All right. That was a long time ago. We're talking like 1930s, 40s. All right. Hopefully North Carolina can get it to better. I actually get it together. I actually root for North Carolina. All right. Let's look at some of the other games. Texas. I'm just going to talk about Texas because of Arch Manning. I'm not even going to talk about how he played. There's a Manning with speed, Jake. Did you see him run?
Oh, yeah. He's got speed.
What? I didn't even know that was possible. Have you seen Peyton and Eli run? I have. I've chased them. They're not fast. And when I say they're not fast, I mean the table moves faster.
Who's faster between them both?
Who's faster?
Yeah.
Oh, Eli. Nobody's slower than Peyton Manning, except maybe Tom Brady. 2 of the 5 greatest of all time. Oh, I will never forget my rookie year. We're watching film of the Colts, and Peyton Manning has a breakaway. He's at the 5-yard line. The defender catches up to him, and the defender's at the 8. So he can still make it to the end zone, I'm pretty sure, without being caught. He slid at the 4. I was like, nobody on planet Earth would get away with that except for Peyton Manning or Tom Brady or somebody like that. There's a Manning with speed. Arch Manning can run. And he looked awfully good. Yes, it was not versus top competition. He looked awfully good, but there's a Manning with speed, and I felt like that was newsworthy. All right, Tennessee and Oklahoma. This was the WWE, type storyline of the weekend in college football. If you haven't heard me talk about it 44 other times, I'll do it a 45th time just to catch those up who haven't heard me speak on this before. Josh Heupel won a national championship in 2000 at Oklahoma. Heisman runner-up. Came back as the offensive coordinator under his former head coach that he won a national title under, Bob Stoops. Stoops fires him, brings in Lincoln Riley. Josh Heupel meanders on over, starts coaching elsewhere, becomes the head coach at UCF, starts lighting up scoreboards, go to Tennessee. They're lighting up scoreboards. They have a top 5 explosive offense in the entire country. By the way, Oklahoma's in the 120s, in case you were wondering. And they came back to Norman. Josh's boys versus the Sooners. Tennessee's a pretty good football team. Final score is 25-15. My biggest takeaway isn't that Tennessee won, or even though it was by double digits. We know Tennessee can score. They have a defensive front that is really good. All right, now, in fairness, I know Oklahoma's offensive line is banged up, but they were in that backfield an awful lot. And they roll 2 to 3 deep. They got like 10 defensive linemen in their 4-3 defense. They got like 10 defensive linemen that can play. I'm talking, there's not a big drop-off or gap. There's teams that just throw defensive linemen out there because the other guy might pass out. These guys can rotate at will, and there's not a big drop-off. They have a legit defensive front, and they can score. Tennessee is a team to keep your eye on. Now, Oklahoma actually kept this game. I think it was 22-3 at one point, which is about kind of how I felt it would go, because Oklahoma's just going to have a hard time scoring. But 25-15, I thought they kept it respectable. All right, the game of the weekend, USC, Michigan. USC rolled in here, the clear favorites. Not many people picked them. David Pollack did. Josh Pate did. I did not, but that's okay. I'm right probably 49% of the time too, just like Jake. But my point is simply this. This was a game of a team that probably wasn't as athletic as USC. Definitely doesn't recruit at as high a level as USC does. A team that lost their entire offensive line. They're starting running back, although they got a couple of running backs to step up, one named Donovan Edwards. Had all these question marks at quarterback. Started Alex Orji, who wasn't even their starting quarterback to start this year. Had a good amount of people coming back on defense, but they had been embarrassed by Texas, and they'd been written off by people. And the Wolverines were like a wounded animal backed into the corner. And they came out, and they ran the ball. And my only concern coming into this game was USC's defense is much, much improved. Better than they've been for a while there. And I even believe they're still above average. Not saying they're great, but above average, which is a gargantuan improvement if you've watched their defense the past 2 years. But I said they've only got 2 defensive linemen above 300 pounds. And Michigan should run this ball about 89,000 times in this game, especially with Alex Orji at quarterback. And it was the run game that was the difference. It was the physicality up front that was the difference. USC, it's not like they played bad. They were down 14-3. Fought back, made it a great game. Michigan scores late to win. This was 2 of the 10 most recognizable college football brands in the country. 2 top 20 teams. 2 legit college football playoff contenders slugging it out in September. And it was an epic game. I got nothing but respect for USC. And I kind of thought Michigan was dead. They are not. They still got a tough schedule as this season goes along. Oregon, Ohio State, and the like. I'm curious to see what Michigan can do. Utah, Oklahoma State. I actually watched a decent portion of this game. I love Kyle Whittingham and the way he coaches. This was a matchup of 2 coaches who'd been at their respective universities for over 20 years. Mike Van Gundy, over 20 years at Oklahoma State. Kyle Whittingham, over 20 years at Utah. This was a game where Utah really controlled the game. The final score was 22-19. It wasn't that close. They were up by 2 to 3 scores the entire game. Cam Rising did not play, which I was told he was going to play. He did not play. Most people thought he was going to. A freshman quarterback comes in. Utah outslugs Oklahoma State. It was over 100 degrees on that turf. The hitting in this game, this is the most physical college football game I've watched all year. Incredibly physical. Utah is a physical football team. Kyle Whittingham. The reason they had so much success in the Pac-12 is because they were the only team in the Pac-12 interested in running the ball, playing defense, and being physical. And now they're over here in the Big 12, and they're winning with a backup freshman quarterback. I do hope Cam Rising can get healthy sooner rather than later. Number 12, Utah beats number 14, Oklahoma State, who tried to make it interesting late, 22-19. All right, BYU just dismantles Kansas State. I thought Kansas State was a halfway decent team. The boys from Provo dominate Kansas State, 38-9. I thought this was going to be like 28-24, 31-30. BYU, man, they're doing some good things. I look forward to watching them play Utah. That is a game that is, it's weird to say. And I'm just going to not explain why and let people put it together on their own. It's a weird thing to say that game when they play each other is so filled with hate between those schools. And it's very legit. I'll let people fill in the blanks as to why that's a little bit weird for me or anybody in general. All right. Any other games I missed, Jake, producer Jake, we should chat about?
I think you got the majority of them. It's just good to see Kansas State lose 38-9 because 2003, I remember they did that to Nebraska. So a little payback there.
All right. Well, thanks for bringing up that game. Really appreciate that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to react to Matt Rhule's press conference when we come back. Don't go anywhere.
Single Barrel is the answer to all your lunch and dinner cravings. They have everything from smoked turkey sandwiches to brisket burritos to burnt-in sandwiches and pulled pork. Try a dinner plate option of barbecue nachos, a half-smoked chicken, a full slab of ribs, and so much more. Don't forget their great sides like mac and cheese, cheesy potatoes, barbecue beans, or red slaw. Mulberry Barbecue by Single Barrel, open Monday to Saturday from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. at 11th and Cornhusker Highway.
The McKinney's Irish Pub in the Haymarket is your place for English Premier League soccer. On Saturday, Newcastle and Man City play each other at 6:30 a.m., followed by Chelsea and Brighton facing off at 9 a.m. On Sunday, Man United plays Tottenham at 10:30 a.m., followed by Bournemouth and Southampton, ending the week at 2 p.m. At the top of the EPL standings, Man City is 4-1-0 with no losses on the season and a draw, while Liverpool and Aston Villa are 4-0-1, both with one loss. You can catch all these matches and more at the McKinney's Irish Pub, your headquarters in Lincoln for English Premier League soccer at 8th and P.
Disney on Ice presents Mickey's Search Party. Get closer to the magic than ever before. Play along with the Toy Story gang. Explore the colorful world of Coco. Sail away with Moana. Soar to new heights with Belle. And journey to Arendelle to thaw a frozen heart. It's an all-out celebration at Disney on Ice presents Mickey's Surge Party. Playing Pinnacle Bank Arena this Friday through Sunday. Visit DisneyOnIce.com for show details and get your tickets today.
Oh, Kansas.
Here we go. If I can have it today.
You just don't stop giving, do you?
Green flag, we're underway.
The closest finish in NASCAR Cup Series history.
What a finish, boys.
Close to downtown, amazing campgrounds. 4 NASCAR races in one weekend, and it's the playoffs.
Goddamn drive.
Now you're just showing off. But we're not mad. In fact, we're looking forward to it. NASCAR Playoffs Weekend at Kansas Speedway, September 27th through the 29th. Get your tickets now at kansasspeedway.com.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started.
Looking for a place to relax and unwind after a busy day? Cigars Lounge at 8th and Q in the Haymarket is the perfect place to enjoy good company, a cocktail, and of course a cigar. Visit Cigars Lounge on Tuesdays for Top Shelf Tuesday and enjoy 50% off select spirits. Cigars Lounge offers Perdomo, San Cristobal, Rock Patel, and more of the top stogie brands that you know and love. But that's not all. If you mention this ad between noon and 5 p.m., you'll receive 15% off your entire tab just by mentioning the ticket. Check out Cigars Lounge today at 8th and Q in the Haymarket.
Come enjoy a show of the Midwest Best Boxing on Saturday, October 5th with Roughnecks at the Complex, the former location of Champions Fun Center. 8 bouts are scheduled for the night, including the main event of Dwayne Johnson and Jack Lawless Frericks in the Professional Middleweight Championship bout. Doors open at 6 p.m. with first bout at 7 p.m. Learn more about the boxers and buy tickets at thecomplexlincoln.com. Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in, temperature-controlled, high-end wine room. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting book. There's only one place to go for all your needs for wine, beer, spirits, and cigars. Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
Have you been injured in an accident and don't know where to turn? You need an attorney you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you've been injured, we want to help you. Liberty Law's experienced attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Call Liberty Law and find out how we can help you get the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. Call the trial attorneys you can trust. 877-42-LIBERTY.
Are you looking to get into the electrical construction industry or wanting a new scene? The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Are you worried about storm damage causing issues with your basement? F Foundation Repair fixes basements with supreme waterproofing and exact concrete leveling for residential or commercial clients. They service wet basements, leaky walls, damp crawl spaces, bowing or cracked bricks or drywall, and more. Whether you're in Southeast Nebraska, the Tri-Cities area, or Northeast Kansas, they'll easily make the trip to you. Get a free evaluation today by visiting WeFixBasements.com or call 402-804-1024. F Foundation Repair. We fix basements.
Are you looking to get into the electrical construction industry or wanting a new scene? The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
With the Planet Fitness Black Card, you don't just get a great workout, you get a great perk out because your membership is packed with perks. For $1 down and $24.99 a month, you'll get perks like access to any of our 2,400 clean and spacious locations. Bring your friend anytime and both work out with tons of equipment that'll give you that big fitness energy. Relax in the Black Card spa and more. Work out and perk out with the PF Black Card. Join for just $1 down and $24.99 a month.
Hurry, this deal ends soon.
See Home Club for details.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Boom! I'm losing the battle with these headphones, Jake. Aha, there we go. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show here live on 93.7 The Ticket. Now, Matt Rhule is still speaking as we speak right here, right now. But that's all right. We do have some things that he's said that are pretty interesting. We're going to give our thoughts. All right. Now, unfortunately, Turner Corcoran is out for a while with a significant hamstring injury. The hamstrings, it's one of those things. It's weird. I've seen guys come back in 2 weeks, and I've seen guys take 2 months. The hamstrings are a funny thing. The only thing I've ever really done is I kind of tweaked it one time in the backyard on Thanksgiving Day with our flag football turkey bowl. By the way, that's when I knew I was officially done playing. That's a very true story, by the way. But I was good within 48 hours. The hamstrings can be something that just nags and nags and nags. It won't go away. So it seems like this is going to take Turner Corcoran just a little bit. Hopefully, he's back on the field sooner rather than later. Now, Tommy Hill, who's got a plantar fascia thing, which is basically the arch in your foot. You get minor tears in there. It can become very aggravating, very painful, I might add. But Matt Rhule said he's day-to-day. Obviously, we need him back sooner than later. Zaire Wright played really well. Shout out to Zaire. Okay, I mentioned that earlier in the show. Gunnar Gatula came in and played well. Overtime got away from us, but Gunnar needed more help there. The pass protection in overtime was just non-existent. Raiola, he's a human being. He held the ball too long multiple times, but good grief. It was almost like a running lane open, but in reverse. And what I mean by that is the blitzer had a wide open running lane to the quarterback, the Illinois blitzer, and their linebacker to Dylan Raiola. Got to protect him better, especially when the game's on the line. And as we mentioned, Illinois had a lot of yards after contact. We did not tackle well. And Rhule mentions this is second week in a row that he's saying that. He's disappointed in that. I have a feeling that's something they're probably going to work on, focus on, and drill a ton in practice this week as well. They should. Tackling isn't something that you just show up and do. It's something you rep. It's something you get better at. And half the time, it's who just wants it more. What happens at the point of contact is how I decide physicality in a game. Who goes backwards and who goes forwards way more often than not. We got to be more physical when we're tackling the ball carrier. At the end of the day, we didn't get off blocks as well. They were stuck on blocks a lot. That's why a team that didn't run the ball very well at all, Illinois, where the S is silent, ran the ball for well over 100 more yards than Nebraska did. How does that happen? Getting stuck on blocks and not tackling when you do get to the ball carrier. Again, Rhule says tackling isn't at the level that it has been shown before. All right, Deshaun Singleton got fooled on the tight end swapping between eligible and ineligible on one of the wide open passes. Illinois had a couple of those. Going to have to be more disciplined when things come up, and offenses do that on purpose. They throw a lineman on the field, 6'6", 335 pounds, and switch his number to try to mess with people. It's how you get confusion on defense. And offensive coaches are always trying to find ways to do things like this. But at the end of the day, if you're well prepped and you're ready, teams don't want to do that because if it doesn't work well, it blows up in your face. So they're only going to do it if they feel it's going to work. So clearly Illinois saw something on film coming into the game and they were able to exploit it. Hopefully we can get better from it. A mistake is only a mistake if you commit the mistake and keep committing it. A mistake is a blessing if you commit the mistake and get better from it. All right, Rhule said, and I quote, "I don't think anything was good enough in that game," end quote. All right, we also had some good rushes, but a lot of errors on defense, talking about getting to the quarterback. And I haven't seen us make, mistakes on defense that I haven't seen us make since last year at Michigan. Ooh, specifically the Michigan game. You know what was funny is I actually wonder where it was a Friday night game. Because last year, if you remember after the Michigan game, Sundays usually you come in, you watch film, you lift. No. They had a full practice. They had like a scrimmage that Sunday night after the Michigan game. I don't know if people remember that. I wondered if Rhule was going to do that. No, there's been no word of that, especially where it was a Friday game. The real reason I wondered is because it was a Friday game. Maybe he would do that on Sunday. We haven't heard anything like that, but it wouldn't surprise me. And it would not surprise me, especially with an extra day to get ready for Purdue, if these practices are an extra amount of physicality involved in them. All right. He's expecting more blitzes against Nebraska, the O-line and Dylan Raiola. He said, "I'd blitz him a ton." Well, yeah, he's a freshman. Why in the heck wouldn't you? The offensive line hasn't been good at protecting him in the tough key matchups and the tough key moments. It was better against UTEP. It was better against Northern Iowa, even Colorado. The first good team we played this year, and it wasn't great. Need more discipline on picking up blitzes and responsibilities. And I'll be honest with you, this offensive line is so experienced, the fifth most experienced offensive line in the country. This isn't Colorado where they're all new faces and they've never seen each other before. This isn't another place where they got a brand new O-line coach. The most tenured assistant coach we have is Donovan Raiola in his third year here at Nebraska. Everyone else is an assistant coach is in year 2. These guys have played together outside of Mazuka for at least a couple years. There's no excuse for this offensive line not to play well. They were highly recruited guys. They're big. They've got experience. They've been together. What more do you want? This is the one group. The black shirts got to play better. But this is the one group that I'm going to look at and be like, I don't understand why you would not play better in the key moments of a key game when the game's on the line with all these starts you have under your belt. By the way, 170 plus starts. And Mazuka did not start the game, so to be fair. But our normal starting offensive line, and Mazuka was suited up. Did he go in, Jake?
I don't think so.
He was warming up at one point.
Yeah.
And obviously Gunnar Katula went in at left tackle. So I guess I don't know. I still don't want to see any excuses. Like, get the job done at some point. Illinois did. All right, long punt return for Illinois was a bad punt that outkicked the coverage to the wrong hash. Oh, God. Where have we heard that before? I don't want to spend any more time on that. Fix it. Same thing happened on kickoff coverage. The special teams have got to get better. I said this on my Chronicle show. There's a guy that sits not too far from me every morning from 6 to 8 a.m. who has done this before and done it well. Let's get it fixed. Because the answer might not be too far if we need to go there. All right. Can't worry about officials or calls that go against us. So when I coach my teams, my youth sports teams, my least favorite part is dealing with officials. And actually, my least favorite part is being the official in practice. Oh, the whining and moaning. God, from the 8-year-olds, it drives me nuts. But then when I have to deal with people who want to complain about the officials on game day, if we could just eliminate that, and some of the parent drama, I say, good Lord, they're 8, chill out. But I digress. When you're at a major Big Ten, Division I college football level, yes, some of the calls were atrocious. And there were missed calls in the overtime that would have kept the drive going. They hit out of bounds. Unfortunately, it's part of the game, as much as that sucks to say. Coach Rhule says game should not have come down to John Hull's field goal attempt. I can agree with that. Tristan Alvaro wasn't getting any better last week. To shut him down for this week as of Wednesday, building him back up. The dude's got the talent. We all know he's got the talent. He's got the physical capability to be one of the greatest Husker kickers of all time. He's just got to get some confidence. Building him back up, whatever that takes, I'm for it because we got to get this fixed with our kicking game. All right, Brett Maurer is on staff with the specialist, former kicker at practices and meetings. He has consulted with Ed Foley for a while, but with the new rule was able to officially add him during camp. That just raised my level of expectations for the kicker. I think that's fair. He says he hates that we're still in the learning how to win phase. Well, that's part of it. In fairness, that's part of it. I mean, we were 5-7 last year. It's not like we've had a winning season here recently. The only way you can learn how to win is by going through the learning how to win phase. That's just part of it. That first close game win is the hardest. That first win over a ranked team is the hardest. That first when we go to overtime after 8 straight overtime losses is the hardest. Apparently, the first touchdown we score in overtime, because we haven't scored a first down, gotten a first down or scored a touchdown in an overtime in like 8 or 9 games. The hardest is the first. Let's get the first. All right. Need to run the ball better. Well, that's putting it mildly. 1.6 yards per carry. Now, there were 52 yards of sacks in there. My counter to that is protect the quarterback better. All right. Final thoughts here. Would like to get Emmett Johnson more involved in the offense. And then he said, and I quote, as long as we win, I don't care if we run the ball or pass the ball once, end quote. Hey, I'm all for being balanced. I'm all for scoring one more point than the opponent, too. So I'm with him on that. We have the ability to do both. We should be better at running the ball so far this season, honestly. Micah Mazuka could play other positions on the line, but Rhule needs to see it in practice. Sounds like they're still working through some things. Hopefully that works out sooner rather than later. Getting the team ready for the first road game of the season after 4 straight home games. And Rhule says he knows the fans will travel. And I quote, I hope our guys are looking forward to it, talking about the road game. Purdue giving up rushing yards to running quarterbacks doesn't equate to what Nebraska does and games plans do. Just so people know, Purdue has given up in their 2 losses this year over 360 and over 400 yards rushing. Now, those were to running quarterbacks. But my expectation for our running game on Saturday is a lot higher than what it's been. Purdue offensively runs outside zones really well. If someone is going to help the team win, they'll play. He doesn't care who it is. Only if they can't help with depth, experience, getting the win, all right, they will redshirt. Wants to see defense make some more plays. Heinrich Harburg is one of the guys Rhule would say isn't being utilized enough. That's an intriguing statement in of itself. That's incredibly intriguing to me. What are your thoughts on that, Jake? Heinrich Harburg isn't being utilized enough. And here was Harburg went into the game Saturday, went into running back. Okay. We hadn't run a trick play with him all year. No need to. Setting it up, right? So my thought is, all right, they're going to run a trick play. Immediately they toss it to him, throw it back to Raiola. It looks ugly. Bout went into a travesty mode. Luckily, Raiola caught it and was able to make a quick decision and got about 10 yards on the pass. How about we run him? How about we throw the ball to him? How about we set it up a little more within the game and not be so predictable on the very first freaking play when anyone, including Stevie Wonder, could have seen it was coming? Thoughts? Am I being too harsh? Fair?
No, I think that's fair. I don't know if it's, he also said Emmett Johnson needs to be used more. I'd lean more toward that. I think in Harburg's situation, 2 or 3 plays, from him, that's kind of what you're going to expect.
I will say this. It's hard because you've got 3 good running backs. You've got, Jamal and Isaiah at wide receiver. Then you got Ja'Cory and Jalen Lloyd at wide receiver. You got 2 good tight ends at least. Can we stick him at guard? No offense to the guards.
I don't think so.
A little bit, but not a lot. Just play better. It's not personal. People took jags of me when I played too. It's not really a jab. It's just an observation. All right. When it comes to Emmett Johnson, he didn't get the ball once. Matt Rhule's the head coach, right? So if he wants to see him to get the ball more, how many hoops does he have to jump through?
I wouldn't think many.
Rhule. Talk to that guy named Marcus, last name Satterfield. Tell him give the ball to Emmett Johnson more. I think it's that simple. Maybe it's a post-game observation. Maybe he didn't notice during the game. That could be fair. I will say we do have, if not 4, at least 3 very good running backs. And you got to rotate at least 2 of them. Dante Dowdell's a good running back, and in all fairness, we were not winning the battle at the line of scrimmage. But I don't hate the idea of, getting a couple guys into the game. We don't have to rep all 3 a million times every single game, but at least a couple. getting them lathered up, good to go, keep them fresh. A couple of holes by the offensive line, which I do expect them to play better this Saturday versus Purdue, and I'm so looking forward to that. Today may have felt harsh. It's just reality, ladies and gentlemen. Until next time, Husker Nation, go Big Red. Always going to bleed red. And remember to throw the ball.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.